Hello, 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 and welcome to the new normal, the Guilty Feminist Instagram live show where we talk about life and feminism in lockdown. Today, my guest is the incredible Lucy Moss, the creator of Six the Musical, an incredible musical about the six wives of Henry VIII and their POV on that story. If you didn't see it when we were allowed out of the house, it was quite a rock concert of a musical, and it was full of screaming fans, predominantly women, all women on stage, just really, truly terrific. So I am going to get Lucy here right now in a four, a three, a two, a one. And here she is. It's Lucy Moss.
Oh my gosh,
Hey!
hi. How's it going?
Hi. My first question to you, Lucy Moss, creator of Six the Musical, is how the hell are you?
I am fine.
Fine. That doesn't sound like great. It just sounds like fine.
It's like I'm like fine with a question mark, you
Fine
know?
is question. Yeah. I mean that's pretty good in lockdown.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think I'm fine.
What in what ways may you not be fine if that's not prurient? Are you feeling a bit fragile, a bit wobbly?
Yeah, definitely. Like I'll be just like watching Sex and the City and then suddenly like crying hysterically. But then most of the time I'm feeling kind of like weirdly like a little bit productive in a way that's I'm not used to. So it's a sort of
Yeah.
strange, sort of a combination between like horror and also like a little bit of like creativity. I don't know. Yeah, horror and creativity is how I'm doing.
Some people have already said nice things about Six. So,
Ooh,
legendary musical, a story for women of our time. If you just in case you need some applause, you're missing applause. Somebody else said love Six the musical. Something something. I can't see it now. But yeah, people are. Someone says Lucy is hot. Now, come on now,
oh
feminists.
my! No, I love it.
She loves
I
it.
encourage it.
I'm a feminist, but I love it when someone
I
comes on and says, I mean,
I
it's. I've
do.
had worse trolling. I'm a new Six fan, and I want to say thanks for creating something so amazing. Eyewear game
Oh,
is strong. That's for me. That's for me. Love your new glasses. They're Trelise Cooper. They're always Trelise Cooper. It's always the answer. Fine equals fucked, insecure, and erotic and emotional. Thank you, another Lucy.
yeah,
Um,
true.
Six is iconic. People are saying. Some people are just very excited to have you here. So yeah, I mean, I I didn't cope well at all week one, and then I went into mega coping,
Mm.
and then I was like almost superhuman for a while. And I this week I've hit lockdown wall, and I feel tired, and I'm like going into month three with no end in sight. I'm like
Yeah, no,
I'm
I feel you.
I'm trapped somewhere between Lockholm syndrome, which is my name for never wanting to leave the house again. Why would we? This is a nest. It's fine in here. I like it in here. I don't have to live at 100 miles an hour. And going, if I could right now go to a dark bar and get a cold drink and make eye contact with literally anyone who isn't my husband or my cats, even I would go for dinner with a men's rights activist right now. I'm a feminist, but I would go for dinner with a men's rights activist just to talk to a new person.
Yeah. No, I think I'm I think I'm probably the same. I would go to the pub with just about anybody right now.
I mean, it's a shame we can't go to the pub together.
I
People are
know.
saying here Six is my favourite musical, and Lucy, we
Oh,
love you.
oh, thanks,
Um,
guys.
Someone called it a leak saying I miss the world that used to be. It will be back. It will be back.
It
Um,
will, but with more
Toby
hand
and
washing.
Lucy, what's your favourite number of Goose? Mine is red. I don't know who Toby is.
Toby
Yeah,
is
so
the co-writer of Six.
oh, I'm so sorry.
Toby
But
Marlowe.
I'm not Toby. So
You're not
sorry.
Toby.
I don't. I'm so sorry. I did not realise that, and I was thinking, do you think my name is Toby? I see now.
You both have quite good like eyewear game, so I feel like there's definitely a comparison to be had there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Sorry,
Mm.
I assumed the eyewear was for me, but it was probably a joint. Yours are so thin framed that
Yeah,
I
they have a
didn't.
little purple going on, a little purple glinty
Nice,
thing. You can see yourself.
nice. Oh, Toby was in the chat. I'm sorry, Toby. Don't leave. Don't leave. I feel we should invite you in, but I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to invite a second person in.
Yeah, I don't know
God,
anything about Instagram.
I don't know. So tell me, you're coping okay,
Yeah.
but you're having wobbly moments. Is there anything you do to keep your emotional and mental equilibrium during this time? Is there anything you go to? Do you have any new hobbies or new ways of coping that you didn't have from the before times, or old trustees that you still use?
Yeah, the old trustees are like eating a lot of sweeties. I've really been like expanding my palette of the kind of sweeties that I eat. So I've got particularly into, those little like strawberry pencils with the white stuff in the middle. They're all like cut up in a bag. Love those. Although I do miss pick and mix. Obviously, we can't do that at the moment. That's the real.
Will we ever pick and mix again?
I know. That's the true tragedy of coronavirus, really, I feel.
I don't think we'll ever pick and mix again, because more viruses might spring up. And do you really want to be touching sweets other people have touched?
Maybe they'll be kind of like little, like, I mean, they already have little scoopy things, but that's not gonna.
What if someone sneezes on it?
Yeah, maybe adults only pick and mix.
I don't trust adults any more than I trust children.
No, that's true. That's very true.
Can I tell you something? This is insight straight from the Guilty Feminist. All adults were once children.
Wow, think about it.
So sweets, expanding your sweet palette.
Expanding my sweet palette, and also drinking copiously. But then at the same time, like, I've been doing more exercise. So I'm kind of just like extremifying both sides of the kind of like extreme unhealth and extreme health.
You're getting you're getting fitter and also intaking more sugar at the same time. I mean, I don't know that they're even opposite forces. They're just both things.
Yeah, that's true.
They're both things. And actually, we so demonize food. We make foods into medicines or poisons, and actually they're neither.
That's true.
And what sweets do for your mental health might be worth a little bit of extra sugar in your body.
Yeah, totally. They probably do more than doing like 100 squats. It's probably worse in many ways.
I think they're separate things. I think your fitness and your blood sugar levels and your glucose intake and outtake are totally separate things. I mean, not that they're not both connected but to health, but I don't think they're not opposing forces.
I love that. They're just part of the spectrum of my life at the moment.
They're just things. They're just things without judgment. Speaking of which, do you have any new I'm a feminist buts because of lockdown?
Yeah. Like, I'm a feminist, but 99% of the songs that we've been writing during this lockdown have been about feeling sad that people don't fancy you. And I don't know what to say other than sometimes I'm sad that people don't fancy me.
I can only imagine the scroll of comments that's going to come now.
Oh my god, stop everyone. Oh my god, no.
I mean, if that's the greatest fishing trip of all I'm a feminist parts that I've ever heard.
Guys, no one fancies me. Please tell me why.
It's like Britney Spears saying, I just written a song about why people don't fancy me. Can I ask what you've been writing in lockdown? Are you writing with Toby? Are you in the same room or do you write on Zoom?
We're not in the same room and we write on FaceTime. And actually, I thought it was going to be a disaster. So we write together the whole time. We're like a little duo. And I thought it was going to be a complete nightmare. And we were like, should we go and like isolate together and blah, blah, blah. But
Toby says, I fancy you as a friend and collaborator.
Oh, thanks. That's
the least sexy kind of fancying in the world, Toby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody wants to be fancied as a friend. I mean, we do. I kind of fancy my friends. I fancy some of my friends.
Yeah.
Just in a kind of like a little flirty spark. It's nice to have a flirty spark in a friendship.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I have to say, me and Toby absolutely don't have a flirty spark. It's more like a sibling spark.
Toby, work on flirty spark, please, Toby.
Please
you've missed the turn off. Toby, she's asking you not to, and then can you please stop?
Yeah, can you actually not? It's a bit much.
#consent.
Yeah, please. So we've been writing over FaceTime, and it's working much better than I thought. Because also, like, the thing of like, you know, when you're like writing with someone and like there gets to a point where at some point, if particularly as a duo, one of you has to like put ideas out there and the other person has to be like, that's not a very good idea, but I can't tell you why, but sometimes there are points we have to be like, that's not good, and I can't.
Somebody's saying, misdiagnosed, is saying, this is a critical point. I need to know how to tell someone their work or ideas are not good. Help. So,
Oh,
so how do you communicate them? Is it just that you know each other really well and you can go, you know,
yeah, it is. And you know, and but even then, like sometimes like you usually have to have a really good reason and have a really like constructive approach and sort of be able to like pull the things out that are good out of it. But sometimes if it's like there is that moment where it just like is awkward and you have to like have a moment where you're a bit cross with each other. But on FaceTime, you can be like, look, let's just hang up for a minute, let's go and do a thing and like come back, or like mute each other to like try stuff out. Whereas in person, you have to like stare at each other in a room and then you have to like argue for a while and then you have to like resolve your argument, you have to like work on it like a marriage. Whereas with FaceTime, you just hang up, come back to it in a
wow,
bit, and then you can kind of like both, because the thing is that we like, if I'm like, this is a bad idea, and vice versa, the person like Toby knows that it's not that I think he's stupid and like and terrible,
no, you
but
wouldn't be working with them if you thought that.
right,
And you
but
wouldn't
then
have a hit musical at your incredibly tender young ages.
sure, but I think yeah, so I think like, but even in that moment you are just like livid with the other person and you're just like, they think I'm stupid, they think I'm worthless, I should quit and you know become
Yeah.
something else. And yeah, so it's actually, there is no good way and you just have to like trust that you're going to like work through it. And what we tend to do is if we have an argument, we like label it. So we like so like we had, what was it called, in a pret-a-manger once, we had the Battle of Cranbourne, where I like stormed out of the pret-a-manger and threw my yogurt away because it was in the Cranbourne street. And then we had the Treaty of Waldorf because we went to the Waldorf Hotel for a coffee to talk about our problems. So we kind of like named them in a little quaint way to make them kind of like
That's
fun and whimsical.
great. That's incredible. You are so charming.
Ah,
I love your duo, and I feel like I've had similar things with. I had a writing partner called Philippa Waller, who we wrote together for years, and we used to have like little shorthands where we'd say if one of us thought the other one had written something a bit on the nose, the shorthand was lead gloves, or when I read that, it's a bit leaden gloven, like you had the lead gloves on, and because it was a joke, we could laugh at it somehow if one of us said a bit leaden gloven. And the other thing we had was one of us would pitch something in excitement, the other one would say, I was just about to say that, and then the other one would go, we can't prove it. Like, I had that thought before and I didn't pitch it. You can't prove it. To this day, Philippa and I will say to each other, you can't prove it. And I have taken that into other writers' rooms and relationships. Wherever I go, I take, you can't prove it. I was thinking that. Can you prove it, though? Can you prove me there? Or are you just cottoning onto my idea? So I think those shorthands and that thing like the Battle of Cranbourne or the Treaty of Waldorf, it makes it fun, and it actually it offers an understanding that in any creative partnership worth having, people will fight for what they think is right, and they won't just go, out of politeness, I'll let you put a song that I think is going to kill the show right at the end because you care too much about your project.
totally. Yeah. Like the most dangerous thing you can do when someone suggests an idea is be like, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, let's try it. Because it just immediately, like, obviously you think it's terrible, but you're not saying it. And then it's just like awkward for hours. So yeah, no, you're so right. Making it whimsical and fun and having that shorthand is so important.
And I learned doing improvisation by just asking people. Most people would rather hear, I don't know, I don't think that's right, than yeah, I mean, okay, because it's
Hmm.
actually sort of a little bit insulting that I don't think you can take hearing that.
Yeah,
I think it's basically, this is what it is. I think that's probably the best you can do. So, okay. As
yeah, it's
opposed
like
to,
maddeningly superior.
yeah, as opposed to you're better than that idea.
Hmm. Yeah, totally. No.
We're better than that idea. Or, but of course it's very, all double acts are very passionate and sometimes get fiery. And the trick is to be able to work through and find your good processes for having those arguments and those discussions.
For
What
sure.
are you and Toby working on at the moment? Is it okay to ask?
Yes. So we have a number of little like projects here and there. We're writing, I think it's a bit, there's some secret things that I'm not allowed to say, but like sort of like one-off songs for different kind of like film and TV projects. And then me and Tobes are writing a show called Why Am I So Single? Um,
Nice.
and we are, a lot of the stuff I've been doing actually is kind of working on a few little kind of like lockdown themed projects. Like one of them, this amazing choreographer called Drew McConey did a little like online micro musical festival. We wrote a song for that, which then a choreographer, Sam Salter, like choreographed a dance to, and people could kind of learn it and do a tutorial, and that was super fun. And it felt really nice to kind of like write something that could hopefully be in some way helpful to the situation, because I feel pretty useless being like not a key worker, you know, sitting at home being like, what can I do that's not completely self-serving? So yeah, and we've been doing a few other little kind of like lockdowny themed things. We might make a little mixtape of quarantine themed pop songs. I don't know.
Please do that. Please do that. Someone's saying Six in lockdown, how the Queens would act in lockdown. I mean, some of them were in lockdown for periods, weren't they? They were sort of banished to towers and
oh yeah, Catherine
you
of
know.
Aragon was in lockdown in prison for many years of her life, probably more than she was married to Henry VIII. No, I don't know. I
And
can't
when
remember.
women were pregnant, then they had to have a confinement.
Oh my gosh, yeah, for the last 3 months. They were just chilling in a like boiling hot room.
Chilling in a boiling hot room. That is a
Yeah.
great number.
That's going to be the opener.
Yeah, that's right. You cannot, you literally cannot open your mouth without an incredible turn of phrase coming out. Chilling in a boiling hot room. We would like to hear that song by this time next week, please.
With Beyonce singing it.
I mean, anything can happen in lockdown. She's not got a lot going on either. No one
Honestly,
has.
yeah.
That's the joy of lockdown.
I'll just give her a ring after this. Don't worry.
I'll WhatsApp her for you.
Yeah, thanks. If you could.
I think it's intrusive to call people when they have children.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't mind that much with me, but
does she not?
Yeah. No. She actually has never picked up. So.
So it's never been an issue. Imagine if you had her number, but she just never picked up. She gave you her number at drunk at the BAFTAs or something.
She fake numbered me. Imagine if Beyonce fake numbered me. Actually, that would be quite. That's almost better than her giving you the real number. It's quite a glamorous.
Almost, but very much not.
No, yeah, you're right.
So, can you tell us a little bit about the magical success of Six? Because it seems to be like on tour and in the West End, and like there seems to be any number of versions of Six out there. And it feels like you've done this incredible thing of creating a musical that as long as you have six preternaturally talented women, you can put it on anywhere.
Yeah, kind of. That was sort of the idea. I mean, what we wrote, Toby and I wrote the show when we were in our last year of university, and we wrote it for a bunch of our amazing, like talented performer friends. And like the kind of premise of it was like, I kind of like been to musical theatre school before I went to uni, and Toby had like been in the musical theatre society, and we'd been like, wouldn't it be great if there was like a musical that actually had funny parts for women and just like had like female identifying people just being hilarious and like showcasing their talents. And we were like, we have all these friends who can do that, and they never get any good parts because all the parts are given to like mediocre boys. So why don't we just like write something and then all our friends can be in it. So like the premise of it was literally like a room in the Edinburgh Fringe, like it was a hotel conference center, there were like 2 lights, and the costume budget was like, you know, like 50 quid for the whole lot or something. So it was really like written just for our friends to be like amazing and hilarious. And so I guess from that, as you say, like yeah, it does mean that like the like 6, so long as you have like 6 incredible performers, and actually now 10 because we have a 4-piece band as well, so long as you have like 10 amazing female identifying people on stage, it pretty much kind of like fits, and it seems to like resonate wherever we have taken it, which has been really nice. It's not been like a thing we have to like change it for each different like country.
No, and what's great about it is that I presume is the budget is the budget. It makes it's a workable show that you can pick up and put down, and it's such a rock concert of a show. It feels like such an incredible night out. Like I came away feeling like I'd been to a sort of like the sort of hype that a Spice Girls concert would have sparked. It felt like we felt really on a high when we came out, and I loved the fact there was no interval. It was in, out, get the big high. I
can't concentrate for longer than an hour and 15 minutes anyway, so I don't feel like we can ever expect guilty. No, it's definitely not. No, it was definitely true. Like about like the length of an episode of Gilmore Girls is about my attention span. So
somebody is animating Six, and they've been spending all their time in lockdown, and they would like you to see them. Can you look at the animation of Six, please? They're asking.
Sure. I don't know how to do that. My comments aren't really working right now. But
oh, okay. Well, look. Maybe. Why don't you send them to us and we'll forward them on. Send them at the Guilty Feminist, and we can forward them on to Lucy.
Yeah. Wait, they've been
Yes.
animating it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, what does that mean?
They've been doing an animated movie of Six.
Oh my gosh. Wait, yeah, I want to see that.
Like I guess like fan art, but like a fan Disney film,
Yeah.
which is,
Wow.
above and beyond.
Yeah.
Absolutely above and beyond. Um, so did you, when you took it to the Edinburgh Festival, but you don't expect that to go into the West End?
No, like we took it to the Fringe in 2017, and it was like students, all of us doing it for fun, doing it for free, just like,
Were you
you
in
know,
it?
oh my God, no. I choreographed it hilariously. So they were all doing my terrible dance moves. I honestly can only apologize for that to them. I don't choreograph it anymore. But yeah,
I'm
no, I wasn't in
sure it
it,
was
but
great, but it's really good when I saw it. Really, really good.
yeah, no, now it's really good. But yeah, like obviously we had like no intention of. I think at one point when we were writing it, Toby and I were like, imagine if like a London theatre like came to see it, and like then we got to like do it for a week like in London, like in like a above a pub theatre. Like, wouldn't that be like? And then we were like, oh my God, no, we can't possibly think like that. No, 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 that's never gonna happen. Like, don't even think about that. Like sort of like scolding ourselves for being too like, I don't know, like dreamy and starry-eyed. And then yeah, just people started coming, and producers and scary people being like, you want, well, sell the rights, have the rights, give us the rights, we're going to change it, we're going to make it 2-act musical, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, all this kind of stuff. And but yeah, and then so we ended up going with the producers who were most like, I think you guys know what you're doing. And yeah, and then we ended up going to the
Wow.
West End.
And then
It's
it's,
pretty
yeah, but
wild.
it was at the Arts Theatre, and before lockdown it was like they were saying, well, it's just going to run forever. Like they were like, it's running right into next year, and they like, it seemed to be like, well, this is the resident show at the Arts Theatre now, which is kind of unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, they were
um
like, it's going to run forever, and then coronavirus is like, I guess again. But
yeah, I
yeah,
mean, this is the thing, is you think it's a dead cert, but of course
yeah.
nothing's a dead cert in life. Toby very loyally is saying, by the way, Lucy's choreography was ridiculously good, just for your information. Now it's worldwide and even on cruise ships. So are you now in a crib? If it's on cruise ships and worldwide, do you just sit down every day and wait for the Six money to roll in? And that must be brilliant to have created something that you can have mounted in so many different parts of the world.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, again, until coronavirus, that was excellent. But yeah, no, it's like changed my life, and like, yeah, it
I
means
mean,
that
that
it
is the
gives
dream,
us,
isn't it? You write something in your last uni, you take it to Edinburgh, and then you're an international hit. You're the new
yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda overnight. That's the actual dream that's happened to you. And is
Yeah, no,
everyone
it
now
really is.
chasing you for what your next thing is? Is everyone like,
Yeah, and we've been
write
like,
us another hit, Lucy and Toby?
yeah,
That's how
and
I
we've been
imagine
like
that they talk, they
thoroughly,
discuss.
yeah, they're like, oh, you're gonna be huge in this city. Write us another. Yeah, no, it's got to have a tune you're gonna hunt. No, we have been failing miserably for the last 2.5 years to write anything. Like we had this project we were writing, and we spent 4 months from about like August to December sitting in a room together for like 6 days a week trying to write this like book musical. And just like at the end of it, we had written precisely nothing. We had like hundreds of pages of like plot and story, and like we'd written like a few versions of songs that were like completely tragic, and we were like, maybe we are never going to write anything good again.
No,
But
you will. It's just difficult second album syndrome.
it really is. It's so what I kind of my sort of plan is for us to like try and write like a bunch of different things at the same time. So there's like not one second album. There's just all like they
That
can
is a
all be
great
like
thing to do.
mediocre. So it's like if there's like four mediocre things, at
No,
least
because
it's
you just
like,
take the pressure off all of them to be great.
yeah.
When I'm teaching improvisation, we have a game called that I invented called Go Through an Unusual Door. And it's so, you could that it could have lots of locks on it, or it could have a huge handle, or it could be very old and creaky. And I see students who are beginner improvisers being paralyzed with fear because the last student did an amazing door. What's my door going to be? And I say, no, 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 you're not going to open one. You're going to open, you're just going to keep opening unusual doors until I say go through that door. And then they're free. If they can open 7 unusual doors really, really quickly. And because none of these doors have to be good.
Mm-hmm.
They just have to be our door. And then when I see one that inspires me, or I think you know, they're free now. I just say go through that door arbitrarily, and then they're freed up, because doing 4 things when none of them have to be the one is so much easier than doing one amazing thing.
Right.
So a lot of it is just taking the pressure off yourself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but also you've achieved so much by, is it okay to ask how old you are?
Yes, I'm 26.
I mean, I don't want to hear about, oh, really? You haven't written 2 hit musicals and you're 26?
So yeah, I
Please.
actually, I don't know. When I was 25, I was feeling pretty smug about it all, and then I turned 26, and I suddenly was like,
No, I'm a
was like
loser. I'm a
panicking
failure.
about it. Yeah, I was like, genuinely.
Yeah, it's all gone to shit. Is Toby also 26?
He's 25.
He's 25.
Yeah,
Toby,
he's tiny little infant.
age up, will you? Come on,
Yeah, grow up, Toby.
Toby. I don't want people being, having West End musicals when they're 25. At least have the decency to turn 26 while in
Yeah,
lockdown.
exactly. Or to be like older than me, so I get to feel like the spring chicken, you know?
Indeed, indeed, indeed.
Hmm.
So tell me, do you have any coping mechanisms to keep? Oh, you've told me about that. Sorry, I've just realised I've gone back a question. What I meant to say, what I think my friend was trying to say is, have you had any low moments you're happy to talk to us about while in lockdown? Because everyone live streams their best moments. Of course, we do.
Hmm.
We're human beings, and you don't want to be Instagram live, on Instagram live when you're crying under the duvet. But have you had any low moments where you've gone, how has this happened? I managed to make, really very young millennials and Gen Zs are having a tricky old time, because there's the environment, there's the economy, and now this. Have you had any low moments where you've thought this really isn't fair, that I've managed to somehow break through, and now, Sondheim never had to put up with a global pandemic?
Um, yeah, no, you're so right about Instagram being a place of putting your best foot forward. I mean, there's been a lot of moments that are like have been actually really bad that I don't want to drag us down into. But one that I will, which I do remember, just because it was a kind of like weird, like I guess sign of like over the times, but also kind of like where I'm at in my life is that I was having a bad day, just like feeling like lonely and stressed and like worried about the future and everything. And so I sort of was like, so I was in my house and I like was like, oh, I'm just gonna like go and like mope in my room. And I went to call my mom, like expecting to be like, oh, mom, like my life's so difficult. I'm feeling really hard, and so and to like completely like throw all of my like emotional like baggage onto her without being like, 'cause she's my mom, she just deal with it. And I like speak to her, like pick up the phone. I'm like, I'm like, hey mom, like how you doing? And she's like, yeah, like I'm okay. And I'm like, oh yeah, well I'm not great. And she's like, well, like I've actually been thinking, and then like has this full on emotional breakdown. And I'm like almost angry with my mum for being like really upset, and me having to suddenly like look after her emotional baggage, and me being like, mum, and that was the moment I was like, this is not fair. I'm the child. I'm supposed to be crying to you down the phone. And then I was like, this is terrible. And she was like, just like worried about actual things. I was like, I'm worried that my play's not gonna come back, and she was being like,
Uh,
I'm worried about my mother who's in a care home. And I was like, that's probably a more fair enough thing to be
yeah.
upset
It's
about.
so interesting. There always comes a point when your parent becomes the child, and you're like, oh, you're a human being with emotions and worries and concerns, and have been all along, and have been sort of hiding a lot of that from me.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and that moment where exactly you've rung up for comfort and solace, and then they're like, I haven't got that to give you because I'm in this space. So
Yeah.
yeah, that is a real moment. That's a real
Uh,
growing up moment.
no, I was like, how
Um,
selfish of you, mum. No, I'm kidding. I was
indeed.
like, it was yeah, I really felt like this period has been that kind of like, I felt very like tangibly that like shift and kind of like, because also in terms of like being informed, I feel like, I'm like, my mum doesn't have social media. She doesn't like look at the BBC News app all the time. I feel like probably more in touch and more informed than she is in lots of ways, which is
Mm.
like, I kind of feel like the grown up about it in lots of ways, which is kind of strange.
Yeah. I think it's there are so many ways now in which young people have to parent their parents with technology and media access and that kind of thing. Somebody's asking if you're quarantining with flatmates or friends.
Yeah, I I live in a kind of like warehouse community. So there's 9 of us in a big converted
Oh,
warehouse.
that's nice.
So it's really nice
So
in
you can
terms
have
of company.
parties.
Yeah, we've had parties. It's been really fun. But it feels a bit like you're throwing a
Oh,
party and no
that's
one's turned
fantastic.
up. You feel a bit like you don't have any friends, or like you're like waiting for people to arrive who never appear. But it is really nice to have.
I do understand that. Where is your warehouse? Is it in London somewhere?
Yeah, it's in Tottenham, near Seven Sisters Station.
Nice. Seven sisters. It's a little bit like six queens.
That's why I chose it.
Were you tempted to lock down with Toby so that you could write together and be in the same room?
Yes, we were, but then also like it just felt like living together and working together and only being able to socialize with each other was
Mm.
just going to be a huge stress. And actually, the
Might,
FaceTiming has been working quite well.
yeah, might have ended the relationship.
Yeah,
It's sort of like,
exactly.
yeah, if you lockdown's either going to make you or break you, and so maybe you don't need it. Maybe don't test that. Don't
Yeah,
test that.
there'll be no more treaties, just the final battle.
Exactly. If it will just be the Armageddon of lockdown.
Exactly.
Um, so can you tell me, has any of this given you any hope for humanity that you didn't have before as a sort of millennial Gen Z, Gen Y, Gen Z borderliner? Do you think the way that human beings are responding to this, or might respond to this, or being forced to respond to this, might it give us a hope for the future in terms of compassion or the environment or connection, community?
Hmm. I I wish I could be like, you know what? Yeah, I I kind of feel like in the UK, if anything, it's pushed me the other way. But maybe that's just how I'm feeling right now. I guess I guess the one hopeful thing would be, with all this like applauding the NHS, kind of makes you hope that people can't be so hypocritical as to applaud them whilst also not like applauding them with their votes.
Mm-hmm.
But I also sort of think it's the opposite. Like someone was like to me the other day, I feel like Boris Johnson's becoming the Churchill, and I'm like, I don't need to have this. I just don't. And so many things about that I don't want to. So yeah,
I know.
I don't
I
think I can
know.
be.
I'm
I
hoping
just
that's not true. At the same time, though, I think a lot of his worst excesses are being exposed, and I do hope that, like some of the stuff, like they're charging uh, people who are working for the NHS who aren't British nationals a fee to work for the NHS, and they're
I,
not giving their families the proper remuneration, or when they're dying from an excess viral load and things like that. You're like, people are looking at that and going, that's pretty horrible. I think even some of the more
yeah,
righty right wingers are going, it's not, that's a bit much.
yeah. I hope so.
Yeah,
I,
I,
d- yeah, I don't
I,
know. I don't know
I,
if I'm.
I hope so. Are there any
Mm.
habits that you individually might take forward from this? Anything you've learned, revelations, epiphanies, habits, changes you might make?
I quite like the when you like approach someone, like the default being like respect, like not touching them and going into like immediately like and sort of like asking if it's like, is it okay to like do the kind of elbow or like what that I quite
Mm,
enjoy the like that the default is like you completely respect someone's boundaries and you don't have to do any of that sort of like, am I gonna shake your hand, am I gonna hug you, I don't really want to hug you, don't really know you, like I feel like that's sort of like a general ethos that I quite like, that you kind of people are a little bit more aware of each other's like
that's an
space and
incredibly British
consent.
answer, if you don't mind me saying. Any habits you want to take forward? Less touching and
Yeah,
more keep away from me. I'm
yeah,
quite
look.
desperate to hug you. If I saw you now and I was allowed to, I would hug you, Lucy.
No, it's not the hugging. It's the you being like, is it cool to hug you? Me being like, go
Mm,
right ahead, Like I like the permission, the like respect
permission,
for each other's boundaries, like
consent.
consent, I think.
You think it's might have upped our awareness of consent? Maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Very
And
interesting.
because people are like a bit more like in the shops even, it's like if they're going there's a bit more communication about whether they might be making you feel uncomfortable or feel, I don't know. I feel like that's like an ethos and an energy that could be positive outside of the like just specifically being about like 2 meters
I
coronavirus
like that
wise.
answer. I like that answer a lot. And I think it will help. I've been thinking a lot about the future of intimacy, because I think after a long lockdown, people are not going to go back to swipe right, shag and ghost as soon as possible. They're not. I think we've got into our own spaces now. And this is my personal theory, is we will go into a space where just eye contact is erotic, and touching hands is erotic. And I think everything's going to be more tantric in the future. And I think people will polarize. Some people will just do so much shagging.
Yeah.
Some people will be like, my body's a temple now. I don't know. I don't want to let any of these. Why would I ever let a stranger put their tongue in my mouth? That's so weird now. And I suspect we will go into a new phase with the erotic and the sensual and the intimate.
Yeah.
Do you have any insights about that as a very, very young person?
Well, I'm tragically single and alone, so I don't have any personal anecdotes to share. But a friend of mine who's been in a relationship for 5 years was saying that she was quite, and she wasn't isolating with her partner. So she was saying that she'd been quite enjoying that. It was like a little bit, it felt like a sort of like spicing up the romance and like returning to like the Jane Austen times, because they could only like walk together in the park and like make eyes at each other. And it was like, she was saying that like, you know, usually when they can just like see each other the whole time, it's absolutely dead. But they'll like, you know, they were like walking, taking a turn around the park, and it felt like unbelievably romantic. So, so I quite like the return to the Jane Austen era.
Just eye contact and chaperones, and yes, absolutely. Somebody suggesting, I think, Tragically Single as your t-shirt. So every day on the new normal, the merch store designs a t-shirt based on something the guest has said, and then then it's printed on demand if people buy them, and then 100% of the profits either goes to you, or if you would like to, you can nominate a performer who can't pay their rent to get that money instead. But you're absolutely entitled to take it. It is your t-shirt, and it says the new normal, stay at home, and then your quote, ex Lucy Moss. And somebody is suggesting Tragically Single, but I don't know if you want that.
I would love that, actually. I think that's
Tragically Single.
I feel like that's the yeah. I feel like I've branded myself with that so much, I might as well have the t-shirt.
You might as well have the stay at home new normal t-shirt.
I might as well, exactly. But wait, I would want to donate it to the performer who can't pay their rent, for sure.
Okay, well, we can redirect. Misdiagnosed says, I will buy Tragically Single. Who else would buy a Tragically Single t-shirt? Anybody else? Well, we don't know. You may say something else that Hannah from the merch store decides is better. Do you have anything that you've been reading, binge watching, movies, anything like that while in lockdown that you'd like to recommend to us?
Yes. So I've been watching, this isn't really a recommendation, this is like recommending someone The Simpsons. I've been watching Sex and the City for the first time, and oh my goodness, it's making me want to go out and date everyone all the time.
Yeah.
I watch Gilmore Girls like all day, every day, like on a cycle, sort of like if I'm like, you know, like cleaning my room or like walking somewhere, I'll like have it on the background, sometimes just the audio. So that's just like a thing that everyone needs to do at some point in their life, is watch Gilmore Girls. But something that I read which was really awesome recently, actually two things, two plays. One is called Scenes with Girls by Miriam Batty, and one is called Superho by Nicole Lecky, and they are both just these incredible, like hilarious, heartbreaking plays that just like had me like screaming in my room. And I usually like
read a play. Can you make stories of those? Because I will do. Yeah. And yeah, you're right, like plays are kind of a little bit, sometimes a bit like hefty, and these are quite helpful because one's a monologue and one is like there's only 3 characters, so it's not like when you read a play script and like, wait, who's that, whose uncle is that, what's going on? But yeah, I was like really like gripped by them, and I thought they were hilarious. So yeah, big recommend to them. I'm going to ask you a question now. Which wife of Henry VIII do you relate to, and which Sex and the City character are you?
Okay.
I feel like you're probably a Carrie, but I don't want to impose that on you.
No, I'm a Miranda. I mean, I probably am a Carrie. I'm probably as self-absorbed as Carrie, but with the like,
you're a writer
with less snogging than Carrie. Amount of
a writer with a snogging, but you're more of a Miranda. Okay.
Yeah. So there's
and
I'm a Miranda with a Carrie energy. Sorry, what was the question?
And which wife of Henry VIII are you?
Oh my gosh, I think I'm a Catherine Parr. I want to be Cleves, but I'm a Parr. We all know it. Ugh. Yeah. I'm the one that comes in and is like, wait, everyone, why are we arguing?
This is a fun game.
Which are you?
Did you? I think I'm also a Parr, and I am definitely a Carrie, but I think I'm the same. I think I've got a Miranda. I'm Carrie with a little 10% Miranda,
Mm.
And I probably want to deny it, but I have a tiny tad of Charlotte every now and again.
Mm.
And my Samantha only comes out, full moons
Yeah,
twice a year.
I have zero Samantha. I have no shame in admitting it. There is no
I
Samantha
I
here.
mean, it's if you have no shame, then you are Samantha. You can't have I don't have any Samantha and I've no shame in admitting it. No, no, no. That's ironic.
My one Samantha quality
Oh, you're
is
cutting
having
out
no
again.
shame in admitting it. Oh, hello. Oh my gosh.
No shame in admitting it. Boom, boom, boom. You can get more Samantha as you get older, though. That's the thing you need to realise. We morph and we evolve, and we go through different phases of being those different people. That show is not dated very well, but it was very influential and important in its time.
Yeah, of
but there are
course it's
times when you watch it and you go, horrifying, some of it. Like when she dates. Have you up to the episode yet where she dates a bisexual man and she's obsessive. She just cannot. It's actually Phoebe. No, it's Rachel's boyfriend in Friends. Is
Tag.
Yeah, is the bisexual boyfriend, and she's like a young man and woman walk past, and she goes, "Who are you checking out? Who are you checking out? Him or her?" And he's like, "Neither of them. I'm looking at you." But she's obsessed, and she can't get it out of her head that she breaks up with him because she's just like, what if he wants to sleep with a man? And it's so uncool and unsophisticated, given she's in this sort of sexy Manhattan cosmopolitan uptown world. And I'm like, how unsophisticated are you constantly? Because they're so heteronormative and it's very strange sometimes.
It's so bad. The episode I just watched was Samantha was like giving head to someone and asked him to taste his own sperm, and then he's like, I can't, that's really gay. And she's like, it's not gay if it's yourself. And I was like, I don't even, come on, Samantha's usually like relatively kind of like on the money. And it's funny because it's like written as if you're supposed to be like, haha, oh, Samantha with your crazy views. And she'll be like, gender's a construct. And you'll be like, today in 2020 being like, yeah, sure. Yeah, it is. Yeah, right, sure. Samantha. Yeah. And they're all like, Samantha.
So your theory is that Samantha's most radical ideas are in fact progressive.
Yeah, they're kind of like boring, like default views today often.
That's actually the episode where Samantha says the famous Sex and City line is they don't call it a job for nothing.
That was the one I just watched.
Yeah. No, you referenced it. You referenced the guy, the funky spunk, and that's the episode. That is indeed the episode. So I'm glad you're exploring that. And please make stories of those plays, because we should all be reading more plays.
I will.
Is there a feminist cause or an activist cause that we can get behind and help you with today?
Yes. So I am not going to lie to you. When you gave me heads up about this, I freaked out because I was like, my guilty confession is that I've been very self-absorbed recently and not doing as much activism as I should be. So what I did was I messaged a bunch of my friends who are actually really amazing people. I was like, what should I recommend? And so I have two things. One which was recommended by Tilda Wickham, which is the Outside Project, which is a charity that's supporting LGBTQ plus youth and like homelessness in those people, particularly amongst the time of COVID. So I'll post a link to that. And the other one is an amazing person that I know from university called Lola Olufemi, wrote this amazing book called Feminism Interrupted. And she's actually the like smartest, most, impressive and like fearsomely impressive person that I know.
She went to university with her. Is she also 26?
Yeah, she's probably the most impressive person that
Why doesn't she come on to do this?
Yeah, she should. I mean, I'm sure that she'd be down. I don't know, actually. I don't know if she'd be down. I feel like we're acquaintances as opposed to friends, but I'm a big fan of hers. So yes, everyone should read that book as well.
Great. Okay. Well, also, if you're an acquaintance of her, please ask her to come on, because she sounds fantastic. And is there anything, so make stories of those. And is there anything in your space that you'd like to show us? It could be something from Six the Musical. It could be a headdress, a pet. Your space looks really amazing, actually, because it's a loft.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a little, this is a little like basement-y moment. Okay, I'm going to take you through my house. God, I'm going to run into the people because there's all sorts of weird stuff, and this is a weird kind of like studio-y bit that we have. But how do I turn this around?
Oh my God.
Sort of giant squirrel costume that
Wow.
somehow it appeared in our house. And these things happen sometimes here. I don't really know how it got here, but I think it might have been like an old costume that someone who used to live here, who was working on like a royal, like the Nutcracker or something. I think they were like chucking it out and they swiped it at the last minute.
Wonderful.
I know.
I
I'm probably
love
hunted
that.
down. I'm gonna get
You're
like
the
the Royal
first and
Opera House
only
like hunting me
person to
down now.
show us I think you'll always be the only person to show us a giant squirrel costume. Not what I was expecting at all. And is there anything else you'd like to tell us about, plug? Anything else that you'd like to share, you're working on, or places we can follow you, or buy Six, the musical, the CD? I mean, by CD, I do mean album. I don't know why I'm saying CD, like it's
I think
1998.
you can get a CD.
Oh, there you go.
But
I was right.
buy the CD. No, yeah, everyone, you can follow me at Moosey Loss wherever. I think the thing I mean, we're working on little bits and bobs. And there's like a video that's going to come out hopefully in the next few weeks that I think should be really exciting that we're working on, but I can't really say what it is yet. But what I would say is that a lot of our cast members from all the different casts, particularly like the UK tour, I know, but also like the London West End cast and the Broadway cast and the Australia cast, they're all doing like amazing like online workshops where they like teach you how to riff, or like teach you like a dance from the show, or like teach you a dance they've choreographed themselves, or like, you know, coach you through whatever. And so and it's really cool to see all the stuff they're getting, like super creative and like reaching out to all the kind of like the Six fans called the Queendom. So yeah, if anybody wants to go and like check out like just like that, like I'm sure you can find their links from the Six the Musical pages on Instagram, and there's like all sorts of like workshops and
wonderful,
and coaching that people can get involved with.
And Toby's saying promote your Spotify playlists.
Oh my gosh, okay. I'm trying to listen. Okay, I'm trying to listen to a different album every day, or like 365 albums this year, or is it 66? I can't remember. Anyway, and then each month I like round up the best ones and then make a playlist out of it, which is on my Instagram. If you want to check out sort of trashy pop playlists of like the best pop at the moment, then you can check out my playlists on my Instagram.
And Toby's also saying the Ping Project. What's that?
Oh, the Pink Project. That is a really amazing Instagram
Pink
page.
with a Q.
Yeah, Pink with a Q, that Toby and our friend James have created, which is basically a sort of Instagram database of TV and film and all culture that have positive queer narratives. So any shows, anything that has like queer characters and I think the criteria that like it has to be queer characters who are like featured and main characters, and they have to not die. So it's all joyful, fun.
Please make a page of that. Please, can you make a story of that?
Yeah, I will do. So it's at the Pink Project.
Yeah, I have a lovely group of queer women who are all sequestered alone. Lucy, when you pop back to life, because you've frozen again, finally I want to ask, because you might still be able to hear me, what are you desperate to do when you get out of lockdown? And also I have a question here. How Anastasia? She's gone. Do you think she'll come back? I am hoping she will. I feel fairly confident she's going to pop back up. But do go and have a look at the t-shirts, because 100% of the profit goes to the artists, and some of our artists at the moment are struggling to pay the bills. Hello, Missy Loss. You've dropped off. Are you coming back? Hold on, let me see. You might have asked to come back. Yes, there you are. Okay. We're bringing her back in 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1. Probably. Hey, she's back. So the answer to the question is you probably have to be 18 to audition. And the other one is you want to go to the pub.
I want to go to the pub. I also want to go to a festival, but I want to go to the pub. That's all I want.
I mean, a festival is way off.
Yeah.
But the pub sounds accessible. When will they open pubs? I heard before Christmas, but I don't know. But we don't want them to be open too quickly.
No.
We want COVID to go away. But God, oh, wouldn't it be great? Listen, I really would like to have a drink with you and Toby in real life.
Yeah, same.
And thank you so much to Tilda Mallison, who put us in touch. Did you go to uni with Tilda?
I did indeed, yeah.
She is a very dear friend of mine now, and she told me about you, and I was like, what? I loved Six. Please, 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 can Lucy come on the new normal? And she set it up in a matter of hours. So I feel very chuffed to have met you. I'd love to meet Toby as well. And I am scanning your work and you, and I'm delighted to see how charming you are, as well as talented. It's been really lovely. Is there anything else you want to tell us? Or has anyone else got a last quick question before we get cut off by Instagram?
No, I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you to Tilda, obviously, who's super cool, for putting us in touch. And yeah, it's when Toby and I 2 years ago wrote a bucket list of all the things that we could possibly imagine in our wildest dreams happening, because a show getting picked up from Edinburgh had happened. We were like, well, we should make a version. And one of them, I have to say, was being asked to be on the Guilty Feminist. So
you could have been on it by now. You should have just asked me.
I'm too shy.
You're too shy. Well,
no, so this is
I would love you to come on the Guilty Feminist. And do you know what would be great? Because I think we asked Six if they wanted to do the Royal Albert Hall. Because we did the Guilty Feminist at the Royal Albert Hall, and I don't know if we didn't get an answer back or they couldn't make it work or something. Because we did Guilty Feminist at the Royal Albert Hall, and we said, why don't we have Six do a set? But I don't know whether it clashed. It was a Sunday afternoon, and we couldn't work out. Maybe you had a matternee or something.
Yeah, there's 2 shows on a Sunday usually.
Yeah, so it might have been that. But yeah, we did reach out to Six after we saw it. But that's not necessarily you. That's probably the producers. So when we're allowed back out, I know, Toby, we asked you to come on. We asked Six to come on at the Royal Albert Hall Girls Feminist. So. But listen, we will play the Royal Albert Hall again. We'll play We'll play the Royal Festival Hall again. We'll play all big spaces again, and we will do. We will find a way to do something big, fancy, Guilty Feminist together. It'll be awesome. Yeah. But yeah, you and Toby can come on the show anytime.
Oh my gosh, I'm dead. This is okay, cool.
I mean, yeah, we just needed Tilda to hook us up. That's all we needed. Honestly. That's all we needed. Exactly. We need a Six Guilty Feminist crossover, please. We're going to make it happen. We're going to find a way. We're currently in lockdown, but we are going to be doing, and I announced this on Six Music this morning. It's way before it's meant to be announced, but it's not gone out yet, so I'll tell you. But people will have to get to the end of this to hear it. We're going to do a Guilty Feminist concert, where it'll be me and some of the guest co-hosts like bantering, and then we're going to introduce like a musician who can just play a set, and then we'll just interview them, a bit like Jules Holland will interview somebody and say, but like with a slightly feminist lockdowny bent, we'll interview that person, and so we'll have like a concert. So there might be something that you can do for that. You might be able to sing us one of your lockdown in love songs or something on that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely.
So awesome. If you're interested, we're going to do a ticketed concert.
Definitely interested.
Can everyone just keep that between 20 and 30 of your closest friends right now? Don't put that on the internet, because people will have to watch this whole thing. But we will announce it soon. So yay! Now we're talking.
Honestly, we're gonna be unstoppable.
We should do like a little house party with Tilda and Toby.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, that'd be so nice. Let's do it.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on. You've been an absolute delight and a charm, and I am genuinely thrilled when young people get big success, because you deserve it. Because unfortunately, the baby boomers and Generation X has screwed the environment. So it's nice that you get to do a really charming and vivacious feminist musical. Thank you for writing it and entertaining us. And it's such a diverse show as well. And it feels so full of life and spirit and the right kind of feminism for 2020. So I can't wait till it's back on its feet, and I can go and see it again. It was one of the best nights out I've had in the theatre in years, actually. We just had such a blast. So thank you. And tomorrow we have Raven Smith, and we have a full lineup next week, and we will put out a story about that. We've got both Sister Michaels from the Derry Girls and Michelle from the Derry Girls next week, both Siobhan McSweeney and the wonderful Jamie Lee. So check in who's on the dates next week. We've also got Jessica Regan, who does our Big Speeches workshop as an incredible actress and podcaster, and other brilliant people. So check in every day, 6 o'clock, Monday to Friday, for the new normal. And someone's saying, you're both changing my life in the best way. Thank you. It's really nice to hear that, because we are... Someone's saying I'm killing it with my guests. Oh, that's a compliment really to you, Lucy Moss.
Oh my gosh.
So proud of you, Lucy. What Ben says. Derry Girls and Six, people are smiling. And Toby, thank you for watching silently. It's very rarely that a man sits and watches as his female counterpart takes all the glory and credit, but we stand you too, Toby. And big hugs and kisses to everybody.
Cool. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Lucy. Thanks for doing the
Bye,
new
everyone.
normal. Bye.
Mwah.